up? It's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek. Apologies, I've just eaten my tea. It's had a jacket potato and I'm still finding bits of it. Right, a bit of gaming news, sort of. I don't often do gaming news because I'm not much of a gamer. I'm not very good at it, to be honest. But we'll plod on. Right, this is from Den of Geek. PS5 versus Xbox Series X/S versus Nintendo Switch. Which console won 2022? So there you go. Hang on, let's check that. Make sure I can read the... Yes, we can. Right. So there you go. That's the title. It was certainly a strange year for gaming, but which of gaming's three major consoles came out on top in 2022? Now then, we've got a PS5. Actually, we've got two. I've got one. And then my son decided he wanted one, and he never uses it. We're not rich. It's all on the never. And we've got a Nintendo Switch as well, which never gets used because he wanted one of them as well, which he never uses. And it's sitting here behind me. See, look. See it? There it is. There it is. Oh, it's coming on. Look. Never use it. Never use it. How do I switch the bugger off? I've no idea. I don't know. Oh, it's gone off, right. No idea what I'm doing with it. Right. So it's there. Never gets used, ever. But we haven't got an Xbox Series X or S. We've got an Xbox One. But anyway, right, so here we go. So, obviously, Den of Geek are doing an article about... let's move that up a bit. There you go. About these consoles. We've spoken before about how strange the current gen console wars really are. In some ways, it feels like we're still waiting for this generation of console gaming to properly begin. Of course, so long as most gamers need to choose between PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S, and Nintendo Switch, the debate about which console had the absolute best year will inevitably rage on. Just as we did last year, we're going to weigh in on the current console wars by assigning each major current console one... Oh, pardon me. Jacket potato. By assigning each major current console 1 to 3 points in 5 different categories, with 1 point going to the last place console in that category, 2 points going to the second place console, and a full 3 points to the first place console. Here's an overview of the categories we'll be using to rate each console's year. By the way, did I say this is from Den of Geek? As usual, links in the description. And don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment. I'm also on Rumble and Anchor.fm and Spotify and Amazon Music podcasts and Google Play podcasts. And follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. All the links for all that stuff is down in the description. Right, so here we go. Sales. How many units of each next-gen console were sold in 2022? This category is based on the most recently published official sales figure, as well as the most reliable available estimates. Hardware. This category accounts for the advantages and disadvantages offered by every piece of hardware in each console's family. Services. Points are awarded in this category for the quality of exclusive services offered by each console. Unlike features offered by each piece of hardware, these services are typically optional. Exclusive games. Points are awarded in this category for the quality and, when appropriate, quantity of exclusive games released for each console family in 2022. Remember, it's just for the last year. It's not for, for all time. And the future. This category is based on what upcoming exclusive games and services each console manufacturer revealed for 2023 and beyond. With that out of the way, let's dive into the debate. What about the Steam Deck? This is all gobbledygook to me. While I initially intended to add the Steam Deck to this year's hardware battle, I ultimately decided against it. Steam Deck is certainly an incredible piece of hardware that will likely make waves in the industry in the years to come, but it was only widely available for a relatively small part of 2022. As such, I'm going to wait until the Steam Deck enjoys a full year of global availability before I add it to this already heated debate. Is that... I know what Steam is. It's the online, the interweb game buying thing, isn't it? So if they brought some hardware out, brought their own console out. Fair enough. I didn't know. I don't know. That's it. I'm not a big gamer. Right, Xbox Series X/S 2022 in review. Sales. These get 1 point. So they were the bottom of the sales league. I was tempted to give Xbox an extra point here simply because the Series X and S experienced tremendous year-over-year growth in 2022 compared to the other consoles. I think that's because of the Series S, wasn't it? I think. As I said, I'm not really up on it. I'm mildly interested, but not an expert. However, the numbers don't lie. The Xbox brand was third in overall 2022 hardware sales and remains third in the overall sales race. Still, the Xbox team's push in certain areas is finally starting to translate into actual hardware sales, even in Japan, where Xbox, has traditionally not done as well as Nintendo and Sony, obviously. The Xbox team has traditionally downplayed the impact of traditional hardware sales, though they may soon be singing a different tune if these trends continue. Hardware. Top marks for hardware. Last year, I talked about how the Xbox Series X's quality of life features helped make it the most enjoyable piece of next-gen hardware. That's still the case, though Xbox's victory in this category has more to do with the growing appeal of the Xbox Series S, because I think it's cheaper, isn't it? Quite a lot cheaper, I think, than the Series X, because no disk drive, is there? It's all download stuff. Microsoft's bet big on the idea that the underpowered but affordable Series S would remain a viable hardware option for years to come. And they were right. The Series S is gaining momentum at a time when other hardware is struggling, at least slightly in a difficult market. It's a game-changing approach to a secondary console. If you say so. Services, top marks again. Game Pass remains the king of video game subscription services. And the competition isn't even close. In fact, it's starting to look like competing services will only catch up with Game Pass once Game Pass becomes worse rather than when they become significantly better. Until then, Game Pass remains the best reason to own an Xbox. It's an incredibly powerful weapon in an increasingly heated console war. That's how I subscribe to the PlayStation Plus. Is it Premium, the top level? And it's not that good, to be honest. They had an offer, and so I subscribed to it. I'll probably unsubscribe when the year's up. So I'm thinking, great, it'll be like just about every game will be available for me to download, for free, even though you're paying for it. But it don't work like that. Anyway, exclusive games won. There's really not much to say here. From a quantity and quality perspective, this was one of Xbox's worst years for exclusives in recent memory. Games like Pentiment and Grounded, never heard of them, deserved a little more love than they received. But the fact of the matter is that Xbox's AAA lineup is thin, and they know it. Things are looking up, but this was a really bad year on this front. Well, they've just bought Activision, haven't they? And what did they buy? Blizzard. I can't remember. They bought big companies anyway, haven't they? Right, the future too. So that's middle. I really debated whether or not Xbox was second or last in this particular category. If we had a better idea of how the Activision Blizzard deal will play out, it might be easier to say how exciting Xbox's future really is. If that doesn't go through, Xbox could lose out on some valuable potential exclusives and Game Pass additions. Still, Game Pass is only growing, and Xbox's upcoming lineup of exclusives, Starfield, Stalker 2, Redfall, Forza Motorsport, does look promising. Xbox is certainly trending in the right direction heading into 2023, despite some struggles. There you go. Right, Nintendo Switch 2022 in review. I've never been a fan of Nintendo consoles, to be honest. I got back in the day, I got a GameCube for Resident Evil 1 remake, and I think that's the only thing I ever bothered with on it. I had a couple of other games for it. I think I got Resident Evil 2 for it. But and I've got a Wii. It's actually there. I've got a Wii. It's there. Never gets used. Right, sales 3. they always sell well, the Nintendo consoles, don't they? Look, the Switch isn't just the sales success of this generation, it's the kind of console that could very well end up becoming the best-selling piece of video game hardware ever. Yeah, 'cause I've got one and never used the bugger. There's a lot to say about the Switch's 2022 stumbles, and we'll say more about them in a bit. But the console is a bona fide sales monster that has settled into success despite its problems. It's the clear winner of this category. Hardware, bottom score. It was tough to rank the Switch in this last in this category. After all, the Switch's hardware remains a big part of its historic success. However, this really was the year that we saw a lot of holes emerge in the Switch's design and no real efforts to plug many of them. The Switch has obviously always been a bit underpowered, but the hardware has clearly reached its performance cap, and the console's natural storage and structure limitations are becoming more apparent after this many years of ownership. With no Switch Pro on the horizon, it's tough to say when things will improve. I must admit, it is quite impressive. For the size of it, it's tiny compared to the PS5 and the Xbox X and S, because it's a handheld essentially, isn't it, that you can plug into your TV with its little adapter thing. But it still, it still does pretty good visuals, for a handheld console. But anyway. But it does have its limitations. Services 2, so middle score, perhaps a controversial ranking, but the thing that elevates the Nintendo Switch's main services is how remarkably uncomplicated they are. An incredibly low yearly subscription fee grants you access to online gameplay and a growing collection of retro titles, demos, expansions and services. It's an increasingly appealing proposition that Nintendo is finally starting to put some effort into. Yes, there is so much more that Nintendo could do in this department. Many people are still waiting for that virtual console alternative that will pretty clearly never come. I have no idea what they're talking about. However, what they do offer is quickly becoming an essential part of the Switch package. I don't know what they're talking about. Of course, I'm a boomer. Anyway, exclusive games, 2, middle. I'd have thought they'd have got top marks for that, because I thought Nintendo were pretty much all exclusives, well, mostly. Anyway, while not a banner year for Nintendo exclusives, the console's biggest draw, the Switch actually enjoyed a somewhat underrated 2022 so far as its software lineup goes. Arceus, I don't know how to pronounce it. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Splatoon 3 and Mario plus Rabbids. What the Switch lacked in absolute heavy-hitter exclusives, it more than made up for with the shockingly good second-tier games that offered a steady stream of new releases throughout the year. Honestly, the Switch was a major new release away from taking this category. My son, he wanted his Switch so he could play Monster Hunter Rise, because he's a huge fan of Monster Hunter World on his PS4. So he wanted to play Monster Hunter Rise, so I got him a Switch for that, and he didn't like it, because the controller's different to what he's used to. I even got him a separate controller and set it up, but he didn't want to know. But now, Monster Hunter Rise is coming out for his PS4 and PS5, but he wants it for the PS4. So he's just pre-ordered that. So there you go. The Future won bottom of the bottom score. Tears of the Kingdom is one of the biggest games on the horizon, but the Switch's lineup is a big question mark beyond that. It's been too long since we've gotten a major update from Nintendo on their biggest potentially upcoming franchise entries, which means that we're just left to guess in regard to how the company will support its admittedly solid upcoming lineup of slightly smaller games. Hardware-wise, Nintendo is rapidly getting to the point where they need to make some kind of announcement regarding the Switch Pro, or whatever it may be called. All things considered, Nintendo just isn't being as clear about the Switch's future as they need to be. I've actually got a game I want to play on the Switch. I keep forgetting. We've got Jurassic... what is it? There we go. Lego Jurassic World. Can you see that? Yeah, there we go. Got that for the Switch. I might play that because I like the Lego games, because they're easy. And them crap at games. I like the Lego Harry Potters. Right, PlayStation 5 2022 in review. Sales 2, middle in the score. The PS5 sales are certainly strong, because you couldn't get them, could you? But you can now. Though it finally started to lose a little ground to the Series X/S, mostly S, in certain markets. However, those struggles can be attributed as much to global supply shortages and economic woes as anything the PlayStation team did or didn't do in 2022. Ultimately, this is going to be a closer next-gen console race than anyone predicted. However, the PS5 appears to have a comfortable enough lead for it to ultimately become the best-selling of the more modern next-gen consoles. I must admit, I do like my PS5. Got a PS4 as well, but that's kind of gathering dust a bit now, because you can play most PS4 games on the PS5. So, I must admit, I do like it. I'm playing Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, on my PS5 at the moment. I'm rubbish. I play all my games on the easy settings, and I'm still rubbish. Hardware 2, middle score. Another middle one, yeah. The PS5 hardware is generally excellent, but just massive. It's massive as the PS5. But we actually got a couple of peaks at its true power thanks to its surprisingly robust 2022 lineup of true next-gen exclusives. It's massive and it's also a stupid shape. Why did they decide on that shape? I don't know. Many believe the PS5 is the most powerful of the next-gen consoles, and we've seen few reasons to doubt its high-end potential. However, Sony does have a bit of a secondary console problem. Whereas the Xbox Series S continues to offer a viable budget alternative during tough times, the PS5 remains an expensive and difficult to construct piece of hardware, regardless of whether or not you opt for the built-in disk drive, which we did. I'm also not sold on the PS5's command center features. What's that? Is that? I don't know. Though the PS5 controller really is a special piece of hardware. What's the command center? I've never come across that. I don't know. I'll have to look into that next time I switch it on. I don't know. I know you can talk to it, can't you? Like your Alexa. I'm not talking to you. Services 1. Bottom score for services compared to the other two. Look, Sony has had numerous opportunities to offer some kind of viable Game Pass alternative for PlayStation fans. Actually, let's remove Game Pass from the conversation. What PlayStation really needs is some kind of online service that feels like a can't-miss part of the PS5 experience. We thought the revamped PlayStation Plus program would offer just that, but it proved to be a somewhat convoluted subscription service that lacks anything more appealing than its own simple existence. It's too expensive for what you get. Oh, I'm going to burp again. Oh, pardon me, sorry. And it's not clear how or if Sony will continue to grow it in any meaningful ways. I hope they do. Generally speaking, Sony seems a little too content with their place in the market. They continue to push consumer-unfriendly policies, including a PS5 price hike in many major regions, while relying on their exclusive games and name value to carry the weight. It was just a bad year for PS5 services across the board. And then they were moaning, they might come across that in a minute, about the Microsoft buying out the other companies. But yeah, the PlayStation Plus Premium, it could be better. I mean, I was hoping I'd be able to play games like, the Resident Evil remakes, download those, but I can't because they're not available. Not, for free, even though I'm paying for the premium service. But I must admit, there was it PlayStation Now that's included with the premium thing, where you can stream games. I was playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City on that, and it was really good, so I was quite enjoying that. Anyway, exclusive games, 3 top marks for exclusive games. As noted above, PlayStation's bread and butter remain their incredible lineup of true exclusives. As 2022 was the kind of year that shows why that strategy can pay off and right a lot of wrongs. The Last of Us Part 1, which came out for the PS3, didn't it? Did it originally come out? Yeah, it came out for the PS3 at the back end of the PS3 era, didn't it? Last of Us Part 1. Then got a remaster for PS4, and now it's another remaster for PS5. I'm sure it did. Anyway, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West, and Stray. My son has got Horizon Forbidden West. I don't know if he's played it yet. I've got Stray. I downloaded that. I thought I'll give that a go, and and got stuck. I'm rubbish at games. I'm rubbish, even though it's supposed to be quite an easy, simple game, isn't it? But them bloody things that swarm all over you. I hate them. I get flustered. Anyway, and straight, all gave Sony the kind of heavy-hitting 2022 exclusives that other companies simply lacked. We're gradually working our way out of a very slow start for the next generation of gaming, and the PlayStation team appears to be leading the pack so far as games go. Like I say, I'm quite enjoying The Witcher 3. I'm rubbish at it, but, whatever. I've not played God of War Ragnarok. My son's got the first one. Well, it's not the first one, but the previous God of War. But I've not played that one. I started playing it, but I didn't. I got bored, to be honest. And I'm not big on racing games. As I said, The Last of Us. I played the first one, and while I enjoyed it, I've never played it since because it's a bit intense for me. As I said, I'm not the best gamer. And I've played Horizon, the first Horizon, what's it called, Zero Dawn, but I've not played Forbidden West. I should borrow it, shouldn't I, off me lad. But I never finished Horizon Zero Dawn because I got stuck on that as well. Ended up in a place with a big massive machine and no ammo, and I couldn't find any more ammo, and I didn't know what to do. So I thought, right, I'll turn it off, and I've never gone back to it since. I thought, I'm doomed. Right. Anyway, The Future 3, top marks for The Future. While there are quite a few notable upcoming PlayStation exclusives, Final Fantasy 16, by the way, on the PS Premium thing, I downloaded Final Fantasy 7, the PS1 game. Thought, I'll have a go at that, because I loved that when it was originally out. Died at the first boss. The Death Stranding 2, never played it, never played the first one. Marvel Spider-Man 2, I played the first one, but I didn't like it, got a bit samey. Swinging around, I just thought, I got bored of it. The biggest advantage PlayStation has in this category is how clear the PS5's future looks. I have a lot of unanswered questions about what comes next for Nintendo and Xbox and when we can expect some of their suspected future plans to come to fruition. While we don't know every major PS5 release date on the horizon, we do have a pretty good idea of what to expect over the next couple of years, so the PlayStation teams can really only pleasantly surprise us from here. The future looks bright. Like I said, my son's looking forward to. He's got them all up, pre-ordered. Monster Hunter Rise for his PS4. They're all for PS4. Even though he's got a PS5, he has me ordering them for PS4. Monster Hunter Rise, he loves them games. What's the other one? Hogwarts Legacy, which looks quite good. And the Resident Evil 4 remake, because he loves them. Which surprised me, because the different art to the originals and is a bit funny. Right, PS5 versus Xbox Series X/S versus Nintendo Switch. Which console won 2022? Right, third place, Nintendo Switch with 9 points. Nintendo can cure many of the Switch's current woes by releasing some kind of hardware upgrade in 2023 and revealing a few of the major exclusives that will utilise those necessary performance upgrades. You won't necessarily regret buying a Switch if you don't already own one, but it does feel like the console is in a bit of a holding pattern. It's the cards that put me off, the memory cards. I'm used to putting a disc into a game to play a game. I know you download games these days now. The kids, that's what they do, don't they? But I'm used to using discs. I'm not a memory card. Before that, cartridge person. I never had a Nintendo 64. I never had one of them. Or what came before it? Master System and them. No, that was Sega, wasn't it? Was it? Yeah. Whatever the Nintendos were. Yeah, never had one of them. Anyway, right. Second place, Xbox Series X/S, 10 points, middle. So you know who's won now. Xbox fans deserve more notable exclusive games, and it's still not entirely clear when they're going to get them. For the time being, though, the combined strengths of Game Pass and the Xbox Series X/S's best hardware features are more than enough to make the Xbox brand as appealing as it has been since the Xbox 360 era. I loved my Xbox 360. I did. It doesn't work anymore now. My lad's still got his, and he sometimes plays it occasionally. Oblivion. He loves playing Oblivion on it. Elder Scrolls. When it ain't freezing up, Bethesda games. Always freezing up early on the 360. First place, PlayStation 5, 11 points. Hurrah! If Sony can figure out their hardware shortage problems, they seem to have done now. You can get a PS5 pretty easily now. And service shortcomings, unless I've just been lucky, then the PS5 will be in an excellent position to lead the next generation of gaming. The PS5 hardware is powerful. Nobody can top PlayStation's output of notable exclusives, and it doesn't look like PlayStation fans will be as negatively impacted by the Activision Blizzard deal as some feared. There you go. Written by Matthew Bird. So there you go. PS5 won the war, according to Den of Geek. Yeah, I like my PlayStation 5. I like it. I've been doing some streaming, as you might have seen, me Witcher 3. I can't play for hours. Sometimes you see these streams, they go on for hours and hours and hours. I could do like an hour, hour and a half at most, and then I've got to stop because I've got other things to do, you know. So I'm playing it in little chunks, but I'm getting there slowly. It's not a masterclass in game, and it's just me pottering about. That's all it is. It's not to show you how to play the game. It's basically to show you how not to play the game. Anyway, so there you go. Bit of gaming news there. PS5 top of the heap. Xbox Series X/S came second. Nintendo Switch came third. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Nintendo Switch, to be honest. It's the not cartridges, memory cards that kind of puts me off. But it's a handheld, so you can take it out and walk about with it if you want to, or you can plug it into your TV. And I've not got an Xbox Series X/S. I've still got my Xbox One, which is kind of cool. Some nice games in it. You can play a lot of your Xbox 360 games on there, which I have done. So that's in my bedroom, is my Xbox One at the moment. My PS4's down here. Never gets used, gathering dust. Dare turn it on. But I like my PS5. Right, we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching. Bit of a pointless video, I know nothing about gaming, apart from how to play games badly. But anyway, thanks for watching. And wherever you are in the universe, look after each other. And until next time, I'll see thee.